For decades, the skies have held secrets that defy explanation. Unidentified flying objects, or UFOs, have fascinated and terrified us in equal measure. But what happens when these mysterious encounters come too close?
The evidence, ranging from unexplained radiation burns and psychological trauma to even death, is both compelling and deeply unsettling. Join us at Something Wicked as we explore the dark side of UFO encounters. Hear from those who have experienced the incomprehensible and learn what the experts have to say about these alarming incidents. Are these encounters mere coincidences, or is there something more sinister at play? Stay tuned to uncover the truth about the dangers lurking in the skies above.
Hundreds of military officers have suffered injuries, including brain damage and burns and even death, following encounters with UFOs, according to a top brain expert and former CIA officer.
In 2010, Dr. Christopher Green was hired by a government defense program tasked with monitoring UFOs to write a report on the injuries military personnel received after encountering anomalous craft, or UFOs/UAPs.
Clinical medical acute and subacute field effects on human dermal and neurological tissues was released in 2023 under the Freedom of Information Act and describes symptoms of multiple sclerosis, brain damage, and burns sustained by patients from close encounters of the third and fourth kind events, an apparent reference to interactions with and even abductions by UFOs.
In an exclusive interview with DailyMail.com, a forensic neuroimaging expert who has worked with the CIA since the 1960s revealed that he has treated hundreds of patients, including Special Forces officers and other military personnel, who were injured after interacting with unidentified craft. Some of these individuals later died. Whether these effects on human beings are intentional or incidental is still unknown.
Some of the injuries resembled the mysterious Havana syndrome, which intelligence agencies believe could be a series of clandestine attacks on U.S. diplomats by a foreign power using targeted microwaves. However, Professor Green's cases occurred decades before the spate of injuries at the Cuban embassy in 2016 that gave the illness its name. These symptoms include acute onset of a perceived loud sound, intense pressure or vibration in the head, pain in the ears or head, cognitive problems, balance and vestibular issues, vision and auditory disturbances, insomnia. There is a substantial body of literature on the harmful effects reported from close-range exposure to perceived anomalous aircraft of advanced design. Some of the claimed physiological effects include paralysis, electrical shocks, sensations of heat, burns, and the perception of odors. The Wayne State School of Medicine professor suggested that some injuries arose from patients being too close to subtle, highly powered, highly modulated microwaves. In his study, he proposed that soldiers might have been accidentally exposed to powerful radio or electromagnetic frequencies from the propulsion systems of these strange, hovering, and rapidly moving aircraft. Dr. Green became the leading expert for military patients who had extraordinary experiences corroborated by witnesses and radar data. These cases involved big silent drones that hovered and moved in odd ways, emitted strange lights, patterns, and strobes, and even cloaked or changed shape, and instantaneously appeared and disappeared.
He declined to discuss his Department of Defense Commission research paper in detail, citing his oath to keep classified secrets. He mentioned that his study was one of 38 commissioned by the $22 million Advanced Aerospace Weapons System Applications Program, OSAP, overseen by the Defense Intelligence Agency from 2007 to 2012.
Professor Green noted that approximately 1 in 10 of his patients died within 7 years of their reported encounter. I had said some things in the paper that they, the DIA, did not want me to say, he told DailyMail.com. The reason I was told was, I referred to radio frequencies as having to do with alien spacecraft and UFOs. I think that there are serious people in the Department of Defense who believe that some of the objects identified as unidentified flying objects are real and extraterrestrial. It's reasonable that reasonable people are concerned about that. The health risks associated with unidentified craft and advanced weaponry are not the only concerns. Green noted that many of his patients experienced burns and brain damage from encounters with unidentified aerial phenomena, including big drones, silent drones, and other strange objects. Sometimes they hovered or moved in odd ways, he said. Some had advanced cloaking, emitted strange lights, patterns, and strobes. Many appeared and disappeared instantaneously, often reappearing at different angles. Some encounters left individuals unconscious, waking up burned or injured. Occasionally, threats manifest themselves in the form of cloaked humanoid beings. A small percentage of Green's patients reported encountering something cloaked that resembled a human being. These intriguing yet alarming encounters with cloaked humanoids not only pose significant personal health risks but also represent a national security threat. Such accounts are not confined to forested, urban, and suburban areas but have also been reported on military bases. Here are a few notable flashpoints.
In 1977, soldiers at Fort Benning, Georgia, reported seeing cloaked humanoid figures during a training exercise. These figures were described as being partially invisible, with only faint outlines visible. Some soldiers experienced severe headaches and nausea following the encounter. Fort Hood incident, 2003 at Fort Hood, Texas. Several soldiers reported seeing a cloaked figure moving through the base at night. The figure appeared to be humanoid, but was almost completely invisible. Witnesses described feeling a sense of dread and unease during the sighting. Area 51 reports. There have been numerous unconfirmed reports from the infamous Area 51 installation in Nevada, where personnel have allegedly encountered cloaked beings. These reports often involve sightings of invisible or partially visible entities near restricted areas of the base. Such beings are referred to as predators, cloaked entities, Glimmer Men, or transparent humanoids. These entities are often described as translucent or invisible beings, are a fascinating and eerie phenomenon. Witnesses frequently compare these entities to the predator from the movie of the same name due to their ability to blend into their surroundings, creating a shimmering or heatwave-like effect.
There are some common characteristics reported in these encounters. Humanoid shape. These beings typically have a bipedal, human-like form, though their proportions can sometimes appear slightly off, such as elongated limbs or distorted features. Transparency. The degree of invisibility varies. Some witnesses describe them as nearly invisible, while others see a faint outline or a shimmering figure, similar to a heat haze. Movement. Their movements are often described as fluid and graceful, sometimes unnervingly smooth or swift. Sound. Some encounters include reports of faint clicking or other unusual sounds accompanying the presence of these beings. These incidents are often accompanied by unusual health effects, such as headaches, dizziness, and skin rashes, which some researchers, like Professor Christopher Green, believe could be caused by exposure to advanced electromagnetic fields or other unknown technologies. Professor Green acknowledged being aware of injuries from UFO encounters near the White House and over the Capitol Mall, though he had not personally treated any of those cases and declined to comment further. Despite the proximity to sensitive areas and the unusual nature of these accounts, Green stated that his patients' injuries could all be explained by current human technology, including advanced microwave and radio frequency non-lethal weapons developed by the US and other countries. "I don't have to invent aliens to explain the cases that I get," he remarked. In his 2010 study, Green highlighted that humans already possess technology capable of using electromagnetic and radio waves as weapons. These include devices that can cause second-degree burns from hundreds of meters away, induce frontal temporal headaches, and emit radio frequencies that disorient and destabilize muscular coordination. Certain directed bursts of waves can even lead to loss of consciousness, muscle spasms, and muscle weakness. He noted, the use of very high-intensity RF, radio frequency, pulses at, for example, 915 MHz will cause an elevation in brain temperature of 8 degrees Celsius, resulting in petit mal or grand mal seizures after 1 minute of exposure, followed by 5 minutes of unconsciousness. Dr. Green suggested that injuries sustained by humans in close proximity to UFOs could provide insights into the operation of these mysterious craft, including hypotheses about their use of strong electromagnetic fields for propulsion. The purpose of this paper is to argue that data exists to reverse engineer propulsion systems of anomalous aerospace vehicles, he wrote. One theory posits that UFOs manipulate the fabric of space-time to defy gravity. converting the heat from their engines into high-energy microwaves or ultraviolet waves through a process known as blue shifting. Scientists hypothesize that anyone venturing too close to these UFOs while their engines are active would be subjected to a blast of radiation. In his study, Green referenced the Cash-Landrum case, where two Texans unsuccessfully sued the U.S. government over illnesses resembling radiation exposure after encountering a diamond-shaped UFO on a Texas road. Stay tuned for a deeper dive into the Cash-Landrum case.